Good morning, Friday, January 13th. Talked about this in a very short clip on Instagram, but I wanted to get to a little bit more meat here of rituals and ritualization of good habits or bad habits. And man, do I know about ritualizing bad habits. And why do I take that next step instead of just saying habits, or patterns, and use something so strong as like ritual, right? Because it invokes that meaning of creating a habit, creating something that you do with such fervor, with such power, that it really begins to take over, and then it's really hard to break that habit, especially when they're bad ones. I very quickly touched on it, but man, I mean, this wasn't something I did every day or every night, but I used to sneak out of the house when I was really in my active alcoholism and drink, and go out, get drunk, and my goal was to get back into the house without my wife, or really my wife. My kids were too small to know. And I mean, to the average person, that's just insane, right? Like, what are you doing? Like, that's very selfish. It's very egotistical behavior. It's like, who is that benefiting? It's not benefiting me, right? It's just taking care of an urge that I need. And it's so nice to be out of that cycle, to be out of that terribly damaging behavior, and be able to have and shift rituals into something so much more positive. I have a meditation practice. I have a physical activity practice. I do work with people as service on a daily basis. These are now the rituals that I have. I mean, I probably cook a meal every day, I would say. That's ritualistic, if you will. And these are the kind of things that we should be promoting as health coaches. And this kind of leads into one of the things that I find very damaging about not just the health coaching industry, but in just health industry, fitness industry, nutrition industry, and all of those things being tied in together, because it's all about clickbait. It's all about how ripped you look. And that's not health. It's great. I'm proud of the work that I've done to get into shape and get to a physique that I would consider elite. And that's amazing and all, but that's not health. And my goal is not to encourage or promote this sort of living. I'm looking for an overall well-being for my clients, and a great place to start is examining your rituals. We all have them. And I'm going to dive deeper into this with some of my clients, and see what those rituals are and what they do and what those rituals do that make people, or that people put into their mind, that define them as themselves. Like, this is me because I do this, right? I can totally identify with that. Like, when it came to the alcohol part of it. Like, I defined myself by that, and that's really destructive. And if you're doing that with food, if you're doing that particularly with sugar, because that's the culprit on the vast majority of people's lists, if they were being honest about it, it's satisfying that that primordial urge to get that, eat it, sigh of relief, but then what's it doing for you down the road? So examine your rituals. If you need someone to help you do that, I can help you. But that's what I got today. So have a great Friday. I'll be coming at you tomorrow with some NFL picks for the playoffs.